Hey everyone, welcome to this video lesson for playing Neil Young's Heart of Gold on the 5-string banjo. So we're going to talk about the whole thing here. We're going to learn all the chords, talk about different rolls we could use over top of it. There's a bunch of pushes in here, which is a little tough on the banjo sometimes. And we're actually going to learn an arrangement of the harmonica solo, so that if we're playing here we can, have a little banjo solo, and we're going to kind of ape the harmonica solo for this. Okay, first things first, I'm just going to play through it. The tab will be in the video a little bit later, but if you want a PDF of the tab, or you want a PDF of the lead sheet, or you just want to support me because you like these things that I'm doing, please consider checking out my Patreon, which will be linked below. Okay, this is what it sounds like. 1, 2, 3, 4. Expressions I'll never give that keep me searching for a heart of gold, and I'm getting old. That keep me searching for a heart of gold, and I'm getting old. Okay, wasn't expecting to do the chorus a second time, but that's the way it goes in song anyways. So, let's talk about the structure of this tune. There's three separate kind of harmonic parts. We have often what I'm thinking of is, I think of it as a main riff, this boom, da 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 bum, right? It's just two chords, E minor, da 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 da, D, E, right? And there's a push to that E. Right, so the rhythm there is quite important, and we'll talk about that when we go through the tab. So we have that part, then we have the verse part, and then we have the chorus part. That's all there is for the for harmonic information. Now, when we do the solo, we just do the solo over top of the verse part. But it's actually pretty interesting, and actually let's take a look at just the chords in the verse part here. Right, it's just E minor, C, D, G. That's all it is. But what's interesting about it is it's 3 lines, right? I wanna live, I wanna give. I've been a miner for a heart of gold. See, that was a push. We'll talk about the pushes in a second, but a push is when you play a chord earlier than the beginning of a bar. It's these expressions I'll never give, and that's the end of the verse. So the chorus is almost kind of like a continuation of the verse. The verse doesn't end. It's 3 bars long, and we're waiting for that 4th bar. But when we get to, or 4th phrase, but when we get to that 4th phrase, we're already in the chorus, right? That keeps me searching, and the chorus is just E minor. That keeps me searching for a G of gold, C, and there's those shots, and then this da ba da bum, which is a little bit of a melody. So those are all the actual structures that we need to do. So now we got to talk about the differences of groove. Now, I'm kind of playing with a couple things here in this tune. There's different ways that we could approach it. So this song has essentially like, it's a very slow groove if we think about it. Boom, I wanna live, I wanna give. So that would be crazy for us to do, I wanna live, sorry, I wanna live. So that's way too slow for the banjo, right? So what we tend to do in these situations is double time it. So if I'm going through the verse chords, so I'll keep them up there, I wanna play some different rolls. Now, one roll that works pretty well is the forward verse. That one tends to work in most kind of like rock situations. So if I do that, I can play it kind of with a bit of a double time feel, or I can play it kind of in the halftime feel. So it's where I feel it. So when I'm playing it, I could either think 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. But if I want to feel this kind of in the same way, I just want to feel it halftime. So instead of 1, 2, 3, 4, I'm going to think 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1. And that actually changes the way I feel this tune. Now, when we're playing on the banjo, sometimes we want to bluegrass something up, and sometimes we want to bluegrass something down. So something like the forward reverse roll is a little less bluegrassy, but we could also just lean into the double time sound of bluegrass and kind of like, I wanna live, I wanna live, I wanna give, I've been a miner for a heart of gold. Where we're really kind of leaning into that doom chicka doom chicka doom chicka double time groove. I played a little bit with that, and the roll that I used, and actually let's get into the rolls that I was using. So forward reverse roll I used, we talked about that. In the tab here of the verse that I'll show you really quick, I actually I use mostly kind of like a pinch and a thumb alternating. I want to live, I want to give, and here I'm doing like a little bit of a lick. It's actually the lick, if you know. The only difference is I go to a 4 because I want to end, or this F sharp, because I want to end on the E, right? So that's the first line of this. I'm just doing this roll. Right, and you could go through that most of the time. But the second line, we really want that push, right? I've been a miner for a... Now, when we do a push, this can be kind of tough on the banjo. Sometimes it's nice to leave a little bit of space, but the idea is we want to get to that G chord on beat 4. So what I do is I start a forward reverse roll, and then I stop so that I can be in time to kind of pinch the G when I want it. So some people have a really hard time with that. And this will help you if you feel it kind of double time. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. And you can just practice those 2 bars. Right? And then you can kind of start feeling it in the duple meter, right? So, and you can do that with any roll, right? If you're doing the thumb alternating roll or something, you're keeping that boom, check, boom, ba, boom, ba. You could kind of boom, check, boom, ba, right? 1, 2, 3, 4. So you can experiment with that, and I recommend that when you're playing through this, try out some different rolls, try out some different patterns, and see what works for you. Okay, and then the third line is the exact same as the second line that I wrote in the tableau. One thing you'll notice here with the line, though, is my thumb kind of follows the root. E. Then I hit the C on the C chord, and the D on the D chord, and then the G on the G chord. Right? You don't have to put that lick in there. You could just do a bar of G. Okay, now before we go to the chorus here, let's talk a little bit about this intro. Boom, da 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 ba. Now we could kind of ape the guitar and right, just an E minor to a D. But that's not very banjo. So what I tend to do is I'll just go this E minor and just a forward reverse roll. And then I do that exact same trick I did with the push on the D to G, where I go D chord, G, except instead of G on the beat 4, we're going back to the E minor, D. And then this last bar is a bit weird. When you do, I didn't mention this before, when you do a push, you're not going to want to hit beat 1 of the next bar, right? That's why we have this tie over, right? Do-ba-da-ba-dum-ba-dum. 1, nothing on 1. It's weird if you put 1, right? You go. So we just kind of leave that note out. So in the last one, I just did a forward roll, essentially, after that push. But here I start with a forward roll, and then I wanted to get this hammer on again just because I hear it. That's what the guitar tends to do. So we have those 2 bars, which is probably the hardest part of this whole thing. And it's probably going to take a little while to get the feeling that you want out of it, but try to spend it, like, once you get it in your fingers, try to think where you want it to feel, like where you actually, and where you're feeling the beat and where you're moving your body is really going to affect the way the banjo sounds. So once that's in your fingers, experiment around with it. So that's the intro main riff, which is also the outro. And then let's take a look at the chorus. It's just E minor, G. E minor, twice, then G, go, heart of gold. And I just do a forward reverse roll, but you can do whatever you want there. And then we go to this shots. So the way it's played on the guitar is kind of this C, 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 and then we have this descending bass line. Ba-da-da-dum. Now that's really important to me, or to the song, so I want to get those notes on the banjo. So they're here. It just goes C, B, A, G, da-da-dum-bum. So we could just do the guitar line and just go take a C chord and pinch it. C, 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 2, 3, 4, C, B, A, G. But what I've done here, and you can figure out your own way of doing this, is on that C, B, A, G, I just add like a two-finger style sort of thing. So I'm going C, B, A, G, but with my middle finger going each note. And then I get a G, I added one note there. Alright, that's the way I'm doing that. And for the da-da-da, I just do this. I start a forward reverse, because that's what I'm using for most of this. Hit this shot, da-da, da-da. And now this bar just seems kind of boring not to play anything, so I just put a forward roll there, but I didn't hit beat 1. Let me try that again. So it goes. That's that line there. Now you notice I went on beat 1, and that's a really good trick to use if you're having a hard time not playing something on beat 1. And banjo players in particular, like the way banjo is taught, is you use these rolls, and you're always hitting beat 1, non-stop. So sometimes this idea of pushes are like tougher on the banjo than they are for other instruments, because we're just so stuck with like, well, I'm doing a roll there. Like, what do you mean I don't hit beat 1? So you have to make sure that you feel beat 1, but you're not hitting it. And a lot of times it helps people to like go, or to like literally just make a motion, like hit your leg or like do something. That can help if you're having a hard time with these. Okay, so we kind of went through all the chordal parts there. Let's talk about the whole structure of the song. So the song starts with kind of like this ba-ba-da-ba-da, boom, jut-jut-jut-jut, this main riff, da-da-da-da-ba. You do it twice, kind of introduces everything. And then you have a harmonica break. And the harmonica break is kind of interesting. It's just over the verse. And what's challenging about it is it's only those 3 lines. So it's hard to solo over, make a nice phrase over top of 3-bar lines. So we'll talk about that when we go through that. But we have the harmonica break, and then because 3 lines feels kind of weird, he just does one more line of boom, da 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 da. Then we have the first verse, the first chorus. Second verse, second chorus. Then we have the first verse, chorus, then after the chorus there's another harmonica solo. Then the second verse, then the chorus, then a harmonica solo. Then we have the, after the second, I don't think it does it again yet. After the second chorus, we have another solo, and then we do an outro. And the outro is just kind of that same intro. But you just hear like, keep me searching for a heart of gold. Keep me searching and I'm growing old. Keep me searching for a heart of gold. And then the very, very end is just that goes to that the chorus section again. I've been a miner for a heart of gold. And he doesn't even sing and I'm getting old that time. And then we have this very end is C, B, A, G. Okay, so that's the structure of the tune. Let's talk about the solo break. So like I was saying when talking about the structure of the tune, it's an interesting, like it's like a riddle to try to create a solo that works really well. Like it makes sense in the song that you have this 3-line phrase because the chorus is kind of like a refrain that ends the verse. But when you try to create a solo over top of it, it's very tricky to kind of figure out something that feels kind of complete, that's 3 lines long. And I kind of like what he does. So let's just go, I'm going to play you what the melody is. So the first line of the melody, this is all over E minor, C, D, G. But the line of the melody is like, right? That's our like A phrase. Then he basically does the phrase again, but now up a note in the scale. We're just basically using a pentatonic scale. Boo, but the phrasing is still the same. Boo, dee, dee, do, ba, ba, da, which is kind of nice. So we have that phrase, and then the second phrase, which is just kind of the same thing, up. Now the third thing, like how are we going to end the line on in this third phrase and keep it like making sense? So you have something totally new at the beginning. It goes da 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 da. But then to end the phrase, to kind of give it a little bit of something complete, he actually goes to the way he ended the first phrase. Ba-do-da-dum, right? Da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-dum. And then we have that little tag. Bum, 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 ba-da-dum. So that's a really cool trick, even if you're quite advanced. Like, I find that stuff hard. If I have to take a solo and it's 3 phrases long, and the song, like, often that can be very confusing, but this idea of like, okay, we have a melody, let's repeat it, but like on a different note, and then let's kind of harken back to the ending of the first phrase to give some sort of closure. Okay, so I would recommend going through and playing that melody, just trying to figure it out by ear. Ba-da, ba-da, ba-da-dum. It's going to make this arrangement easier, but let's just blow through the arrangement. So I'm just doing it with rolls. I have some pinches, thumb alternating. Let's go through the first line here. So we start with the E minor chord, slide into the melody. Hammer on for the D. Now this is just a little bit of a melody, ba-da-ba-da-ba-dum, leading us back to the E minor, and we've done that a bunch through the chords. I like that little line. Second line, right? Boo. Right, back. Now here's kind of a cool trick. When you have repeated notes, with open string notes, we can obviously slide and get those notes. So that's what I'm doing here. Very banjo. Almost the same phrase. The first time I did it with 2 hammer-ons. So let me do that last line again. So E minor, sliding up, sliding to the B. And then we do the intro again. Okay. Nice. So the very last thing I'm going to do here is I'm just going to play through the harmonica solo break with the tablature all at once at a slow tempo. It sounds like this. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then you go into the verse. All right. I hope you like this. This is a fun tune to do. Those pushes can be quite challenging. But yeah, yeah. Hope you have fun. Anyways, till next time. Bye.